Hi, I'm Mary Matz, creator of Twisted Yarns. In this video, I will show you my method for crocheting the best moss stitch ripple. I prefer my method for 3 reasons. First, the fabric is firm, dense, and reversible. Second, the decrease in the valley appears identical to the increase at the peak. This allows the ripple to change direction in an even and continuous flow. And third, and most importantly, you get into the rhythm of the stitch pattern faster. Since the V's at the peaks and the valleys are easy to identify, it's hard to make a mistake. This is especially important for beginners. You can download the companion pattern by following the link in the description below. It includes instructions for a variety of options so you can make any size you want and get the effect you want. For our demo, we will be working in a multiple of 19 plus 18, so form a slip knot and chain 56. This is the amount needed to work 2 repeats and the beginning and ending sections. We will work 3 moss stitches along each slope. You could work more or less stitches along the slopes if desired, but this changes the number of chains in the foundation. The companion pattern includes the formula for calculating how many chains needed in the foundation for these variations. As you can see, our 56 is quite a bit longer, but what's going to happen is it's going to be absorbed in the zigzags as we create the peaks and valleys on the next row. The first row establishes the ripple effect. Working in the upper loop of the foundation chain, work 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Chain 1. Then you're going to skip 1 stitch, which is a chain in this case, and then work 1 single crochet in the upper loop of the next chain. You're going to be going through the upper loops of all the chains along the foundation. Chain 1, skip 1, and work a single crochet in the next one. Chain 1, skip 1, and a single crochet. That places our beginning stitch and then 3 single crochets on that upward slope. Now we're going to chain 1, skip 1, and work a single crochet, chain 2 to form the peak, and then another single crochet in the very same stitch. Chain 1, and now we're beginning downward on the slope. Skip 1, single crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next, chain 1. Now that places 1, 2, 3 along our slope. At this point, we're going to skip the next one. We've already have a chain 1 there, and this is where it's a little bit different. We're going to insert our hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop. Then we're going to skip 2 chains and insert our hook into the very next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3. What that does is it creates a valley, and that is a single crochet 2 together with the first leg in the first stitch that we inserted the loop and inserted the hook in, skip 2 chains in the middle, and then insert the second leg in the next stitch. That draws it together and gives it a little point down at the bottom. So now we've made a peak and a valley. Now we're going to continue to chain 1. Skip 1. This is number 1 single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Here's number 2. Chain 1, skip 1. Here's number 3. Okay, we've got our 3 along the side. Now we're going to chain 1, skip 1, and work 1 single crochet, chain 2 to form the peak, and 1 single crochet in the very same stitch, and a chain 1. That creates the second peak. Can you see how that's developing now? Right along there. So we're going to just continue down the side and skip 1, and we've already chained our 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, single crochet, chain 1. That makes our third on the side. So now we're going to work our next single crochet 2 together. And we're going to skip 1, insert our hook in the next chain, pull up a loop, but don't complete it. Then skip 2, 1, 2, and insert our hook in the very next stitch, pull up a loop. 3 loops around the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. And that is a single crochet 2 together. But remember, it's divided by those 2 chains at the bottom. That complements the 2 chains at the top in between the 2 single crochets, an increase up here and a decrease down here. Put a chain 1 in, and we're going to continue in the same manner, working 3 along the sides up to the peak, and then I'm going to join you. You can practice on this part, and I'll join you when we get toward the end after we finish that next peak. 1, and here's 3. Single crochet, chain 1, and now we have 3 stitches left. Now this is how you end. You're going to skip 1, and you're going to pull up your first loop in the next stitch, and your second in the very next. 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Now you've just done a single crochet 2 together. But if you notice, what we have is we have 2 repeats. You count from peak to peak. That's 1 repeat. Peak to peak. That's 2 repeats. This is the beginning section, and this is the ending section. Now, if you're going to continue in the same color, all you need to do is chain 1 and turn. I'll go over how to change the colors on the next in a couple of rows. But right now, we're just going to learn the stitch, because the first row sets you up to doing the next. But the next row actually is the stitch pattern, because you're going to be working in spaces, not into chains. We've chained our 1 and turned. We're going to find the very first space. We're going to work a single crochet in it. And that's how you begin the row. Chain 1 afterwards, because the moss stitch is basically a single crochet and a chain 1. Jump to the next space, single crochet, chain 1 in it. Single crochet, chain 1 in the next space. You don't have to worry. You're actually skipping this single crochet, but it's easier just to find the spaces and just work your stitch in it. So single crochet and chain 1. Now, the next space that you encounter is at a peak, very easy to spot. In that, you work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet. Sound familiar? Yes, that's it. And a chain 1, of course. And then you're going to come down this side of this slope. So you go to the next space, single crochet into it, chain 1. Next space, single crochet into it, and chain 1. Chain 1. Single crochet into it, chain 1. That's our 3. And then the next space is right at the tip. You'll have a space here and you'll have a space there. We are going to do a decrease in the space before and the space after the point on the bottom in the valley, okay? Our downward point, you might say. But we're going to do it a little bit differently, and I'll show you why a little bit later in this video. Okay, you're going to insert your hook and pull up a loop. You're going to hold that because we're doing a decrease. But in this space, you're going to first yarn over and then insert your hook and pull up a loop. Now you have 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4. It's basically the first leg of the decrease is a single crochet or partial single crochet, and the second leg is a half double crochet, because technically a half double crochet is where you yarn over and then you pull up a loop and yarn over and pull through all 3. But this is important, and I'll show you as we change our colors. Okay. Chain 1 and then work a single crochet, chain 1, single in each space all the way up. And you should have 3 along that side, which you do. Chain 1, you go up into the tip and you work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet in that very middle of those 2 single crochets of the row below. But it's in the space at the tip of the peak, right there. Then the easiest way to do it is just slide on down, put a chain 1 in between, work a single crochet and a chain 1 in each of the spaces along the slope. When you get to the last space before you get to the point, you always have to think of that as the last space. You're going to insert, pull up a loop like you're doing a single crochet, hold that loop, but don't complete the single crochet, hold that loop, bring the yarn over the hook, and work a half double crochet in the next space. Yarn over and pull through all 4. Chain 1, and then keep going up. Now, I'm going to show you how to end off after each color if you want to. Okay, there's your single crochet, chain 1, and we're just working down this last side, and we're down to the last stitch. Now, in the last stitch, you're going to do the same thing that you did into the valley, but you're going to place your hook. You only have 1 space before the end. So you're going to place your hook in that space, pull up a loop to do as if you were going to do a single crochet. You got the loop on the hook. You're going to yarn over once again and then insert your hook right into the little chain at the end. Pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 4. So if you're going to change colors, you're just going to simply work a chain 1 and cut your yarn. Pull the loop through and then weave that end in. If you're going to leave your work, if you're a newbie to crocheting and you can't easily recognize where you ended off, just put a marker on the end that you stop, because you do want to turn this pattern after each row. So here's my new color. I wanted to make it contrasting. All I'm going to do is slip stitch right into where I made that little chain. The chain sort of locks down that stitch and it's really tight. But anyway, there we go. I'm just going to slip stitch into it. And let that end dangle. I'm going to chain 1. Now, I'm just simply going to find the very first the very first space, insert my hook, pull up a loop, and complete a single crochet. And that's how I start every row. And number 3. Now the only thing that I find is really interesting on this pattern is that all you have to remember is to put a single crochet, chain 1 in each space, except when you get to the peak. In the peak you put a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet and a chain 1 in that very same space. You're always chaining 1 between your stitches, and you're always jumping to the next space. When you get to the valley, you're going to find that space before the valley, and you're going to insert and pull up a loop and yarn over and insert and pull up a loop in the next one. And then you complete that stitch. If you do a single crochet 2 together, this is what it would look like. You pull up a loop in the first loop, then you go over here and you pull up a loop in the second loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. The issue is on the back side you have a funny little bar across the back, unlike this one where you don't. Both sides are identical, and I dare you to tell me which one is which. That's the uniqueness, see? And if you did it this way, you'd have a funny little bar across the back. But watch, let me do it again using the first leg of the decrease as a single crochet, yarn over, and then pulling up a loop just like you're doing another single crochet, or a half double crochet. What happens is that bar is over the hook and gets hung up on the hook, so you get a perfectly formed V. And that will repeat itself up the pattern. Okay, I'm at my last space. Okay, the very last space. And I'm going to insert, pull up a loop, then I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to go under that end chain stitch from the row below. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on the hook. Chain 1. If you're continuing the same color, you just turn and continue. If you're ending this color, end your yarn off, weave it in. This is a 4 color rows, 4 rows in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1 row, and then this is 2 rows. So you'll always have this little kind of stitched look when you change a color. You'll always have that little in and out, in and out. That's the nature of the moss stitch. That's why moss stitches are so fun to work with stripes. And with my method, you really get a sharp V, an inverted V at the bottom in the valley, and you get a real true V at the peaks. I hope you enjoyed making the moss stitch ripple. Please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos. Happy crocheting!